Fran O'Sullivan is one of the world's leading technologists. In 28 years, first with IBM and today with Lenovo, she has been involved with nearly every aspect of the personal computer industry. From working with NASA to perfect testing for the first space shuttle launch, to helping to develop IBM PCs and laptops for 25 years, she has impacted the way we view the world. Today, as Senior Vice President for Lenovo's product group, she oversees all of the personal computer and desktop computer production for the world's third largest producer of this technology. In this segment of the Interview Women in Technology series, she talks about the unlimited opportunities for women in technology, having fun at her job, and her days as a Girl Scout.
You know, one thing that young women and girls and then women when they're in their careers really bring to the market, I think, is a deep understanding of how customers use the technology. So they don't always approach it from a, wow, this is impossible or difficult, so I'll design something. Women tend to look more like, well, how is somebody using this piece of technology and how could I make it better? What could make it more efficient? What could make me love my computer or whatever you're working on? You know, I do talk to some young women groups going out to schools, and you know, they say, wow, it's an engineer and it sounds like it's just such a, you know, a nerdy profession. And I say, well, look at this. Can you imagine your life without a notebook, a ThinkPad? Can you imagine life without the internet? Can you imagine life without a cell phone or instant messaging? Well, none of those were invented when I was your age, and now people can't live without it. So what can you go invent? What can you go bring to market that people will not be able to live with? It's exciting, right? Engineering can be fun. But it's true, I do get up early. But then I like to, if it's nice out, I'm lucky enough to live in North Carolina. Most days I can go running outside, so I try to get some exercise. And then I will check my BlackBerry to see what important emails came, because a lot of my team actually works in China and Japan. So they're working while I'm sleeping. So I wake up and do some email, and then likely a teleconference. And then I do go to meetings, I must admit, during the day, or I travel. I do travel a little bit. I've got lucky enough to go from, as I said, China, Japan, Australia, and get to go to Europe next week, so get to go around the world. And then I'll come home, and I might have to have a night phone call a couple of days a week, just because, again, that's when Asia has woken up. But then Friday afternoons, I try to take off around noon, make up for all the night phone calls that we do, and you know, just go out and do something with the family, do something fun. Well, I think there's many different careers you can pursue, and you don't always use everything you learn in school, but it's very important that you get the foundation and you learn how to learn. And you know, if something is difficult, then there's nothing more rewarding than when you figure it out. So sometimes you just have to buckle down and do a little bit more. But once you figure out algebra, it's actually can be fun, believe it or not. And then you just feel so like you really accomplished something. I learned that. And then the next challenge is even easier. So I think it's not necessarily that you absolutely use everything you learned in school. You learn how to learn. That's the right foundation. And especially in technology, it's just, there's so many new inventions. I'm learning all the time. I started off as a brownie, then I was a Girl Scout, and oh, I had my sash, and I had the badges up and down the back, and it was just, I remember I couldn't wait to see which badge would I go after next. I went to the University of Virginia, which is equivalent to a lot of the schools here, great engineering schools. But here is where there is a great opportunity for careers. I just met a colleague. He started his own small company right here in Research Triangle Park. And what he does is he develops games. You think, oh, okay, the gaming, but it's actually they've taken these games and they're now applying it, that it is the training method to train all emergency personnel. So they're going through and they learn how to help, if somebody is having chest pains, they go through these game simulation on how to revive the person and get them safely to the hospital. So it's gaming, but yet it's really helping mankind. It's like, what a fun job that would be. So there's all kinds of jobs here in the area. I think the most important thing as you go through your career is are you trustworthy? Are you dependable? Do you make your commitments? Today's world, and when you're working, it's all about teaming. The days in the past where you'd work in a laboratory and sit in your cubicle and just think are over. We are very fast move. We have to collaborate. As I said, our team is a global team, so literally, if I send that email at night to China, when I wake up, I have the answer. The work is done. So it's very much networking, teaming, and in order to get ahead, you really have to. I think you have to clearly state your strategy, state your goals, and then you have to make your commitments. Really, if you like math and science, stick with it. It can be a fun career. You can work on products, just as I said earlier. Think of what you can invent and bring to the world and have somebody just love it. That's what you can do if you put your mind to it.